Okay, welcome. We're going to go through a few problems that deal with finding the global relative maximum and minimum values by using critical points and endpoints. So as we do this, the first thing what you want to do is we want to find the global values is that those can occur at two different values, or two different areas. Exterior points or endpoints, and they also can find at interior points, which are the end or the critical points, all right, of a value. So as we go through here, we need to test out to see, okay, where is this function, all right, and do we have any endpoints? Well, it appears, looking at our one value or our domain, is that we do have a closed interval endpoint here at 3. So I'm going to find out what f of 3 is, and that's going to be one of my relative extremum. And we're going to plug that in. So we have 3, and we're going to take that cubit and take that to the 5th root. So we have 3 to the 3/5 power, which is one of our possible relative max or mins. Another, all right, one is going to be on our interior. Okay, and our interior points are located at critical points. Now, for a little refresher, critical points are when f prime equals 0 and or when it's going to be undefined. So to find this out, we're going to take the derivative then of our function. So I'm going to find f prime. Okay, and I'll bring this up. We have f prime right here. That's going to equal 3/5 x, and subtract 1 from that. We have negative 2/5 power. Okay, go right here, and we rewrite this as 3 over 5 to the x to the 2/5, like so. And we realize that at this point, okay, we do not have any values where it equals 0, but there is a value where it's going to be undefined, or it doesn't exist. Okay, we look at the denominator, and when the denominator equals 0, all right, that's when it's going to be undefined. For this one, we look at the numerator, all right, for when we find out when it's equal to 0. All right, look at the numerator when that equals 0. And that's where we notice that, because the numerator never will equal 0 in this case. So we'll take the bottom, and we take 5x to the, what do we have, 2/5 power. All right, so that equal to 0. This is the denominator, once again, equal to 0. And we realize when x equals 0, that is our undefined value. Okay, so after we find these values, and this is where we got to figure out, is we want to find out what this value is, f of 0. And when we plug that in there, we get a value of 0. Okay, so this is our critical point. This is our endpoint. And now I guess we'll find out what is our actual, what do we actually have here. So when we test this out, all right, we want to determine what this graph looks like. And generally, we can go on a graph, all right, graphing calculator and figure this out. So I'm going to pause this thing on my graphing calculator and find out the graph, so you can do that as well. So we're going to graph this function to find out which ones actually work out and analyze it a little bit closer. And I'll pause it and be back in, all right, for you one time. Well, welcome back. All right, you can see that now all of a sudden there's a calculator appearing in front of you. All right, how did that happen? Well, I paused the recording and went back if you want to know the math or the magic behind it. All right, and what we want to do is we want to take this function, all right, and we're going to find out, all right, what is happening here. Now, we're only taking the interval from -2 to 3. So I'm going to go to my window, and I'm going to go from -2, and I'm going to plot only to 3. I'll graph those different values, and I will graph this right here. And you can see what's happening. Now, from -2, since we don't include -2, all right, that is one of our values, all right, but you can see right here, okay, that there appears to be some sort of action going on right there. And when we look at this a little closer, sorry, I didn't get rid of that, okay, so we were a little bit more investigation. All right, we realize that what is happening here, well, at the 0, okay, even though it's a critical point, there appears to be some sort of, all right, change where the, all right, derivative is undefined, all right, appears to be maybe a vertical asymptote there, okay. but yet it is not a max or min value. Okay, so what we did notice is that our other endpoint, though, which looks like appears to be the highest, so this would be a relative and actually a absolute max as well, all right, value in this problem. But our critical point, which is at 0, 0, is not one of our relative min or maxes because it is just a value that appears to be a vertical tangent. Tangent line at that graph. Okay, so when we're going through, we use our analysis to figure out where our critical points are, possible values. And for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to a calculator to determine what is happening at each one of these values. Okay, so I hope that helps out. We're going to go through some more in just a little bit. I'm going to have some other videos, but that is our first one, all right, in a series of different problems. So you can either pause this, rewind it, or if you need to copy this down, all right, the remaining parts of this. Okay, so we found out our relative max at that endpoint, and then our interior point, our critical point, we have that value, which is a vertical tangent, which is nothing, neither max nor min.